It's time to build your website. Yeah. What? Having problems?
Oh, hell no!
Don't know what to do? Don't know what to include? Don't know how to do it? I feel you. The number one complaint I get is that people do not know the steps, the first thing to do in order to build the all-important website. But you do realize that that means you just need a website plan, right? Of course you do, my love. Everything in your entrepreneurial journey that you really want to do successfully requires a strategy and a plan. But don't worry, I got you, because today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to create a plan for that new website, and I'm going to give you one of my most popular free tools to do it. Let's get to work. Today, we are diving into a very exciting and highly requested topic, planning your first website. Whether you're a small business owner, a freelancer, or starting a personal blog, regardless where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, your website is going to be your digital storefront, and it is one of the most crucial steps that you will take as a new business owner. Let's walk through the essential steps to not only create a website, but to ensure that it is set up to boost visibility, build a strong brand, and engage your audience effectively to get them to take action. Are you ready to start? Then let's get to work. Okay, I have to start by telling you guys that this is one of the most highly requested topics that I receive all the time. I get so many questions, especially from you guys out there just starting your business, about how to build a website, how to plan to build a website, and I get it. It is rocket science and it is very confusing. Let's dive into the steps that I want you to follow as you begin planning your very first website. Now, step number one in planning out your very first website is focusing on how to ensure that you can boost its visibility. So all of these points that I am talking to you about are going to address how you think about building your site around it becoming visible. The goal here is to make sure that your site is found by the right people at the right time, especially folks who are going out online and Googling a particular topic. You want to make sure that that keyword or that topic finds you. And you want to make sure that you are showing up on the very first page of Google, because the reality is, how often, keeping it all the way real, do you go to the second page after you've Googled something?
How? I don't know.
Never, right? You look at it, you get the results come up, you kind of scroll past the sponsored ones because you know that those are paid. And then you look at the first two options and you start diving in. That is where you ultimately want to end up. And that is what you want to begin planning out what your website is going to be around in that particular place. So some key points when you are trying to build your website and plan it out, especially taking into consideration the all important factor of boosting its visibility. The first thing you want to know is SEO. That is search engine optimization. And I need you to understand the importance of SEO as you are planning out what your website is going to have on it, what keywords it's going to include, and ultimately what it's going to look like. Now, you've heard me mention keywords a couple of times in this step, and that is because keywords are absolutely important. Keywords are the ones that people are actually typing into Google in order to find things. And it is important for you to know what keywords you are going to tie to your website. That is why I tell people all the time, you cannot plan or set up a website until you've done the foundational work in starting your business, like your market research and researching your competitors and figuring out who your ideal customer is. Before you can plan out this website, you have to know all of that, because keywords are going to be critical as you build. So you need to use relevant keywords in your content, relevant meta descriptions and meta tags, and titles to make sure that you are improving your site's ranking on search engines. So you really want to make sure you're planning your site around search engine optimization. Now, there are tons of tools out there that can help you identify the keywords, but the most simple one is go to Google, start typing in a phrase or a keyword that is relevant to the service that you are providing, your product or service, and Google will actually pull up automatically automatically populate a list of things that have that initial search that you punched into it. It's doing that because it's telling you these are the top keywords that the audience or that people are using based upon what you typed in order to find it. It's going to tell you what people are searching for. So that is the perfect place to start. Keywords and SEO is going to be critical in boosting your site's visibility. I also want you, as you are planning this website and thinking about how to make it the most visible as possible, at mobile optimization. So often you'll build a website and you might be DIYing that website, and we'll get into DIY versus hiring someone a little bit later, but mobile optimization is a huge consideration because statistics show that over 86% of people out there are accessing websites on their phone. And if your website is not optimized for mobile usage, people are not going to stay on it. They're going to click right off. And that is not the goal. So ensuring that your website looks good and is very mobile friendly is going to be critical. We've all been on websites that don't do well on cell phones, haven't we? And it's extremely frustrating and it's annoying, and they are probably websites that we do not go back to, right? Right, exactly. So you want to make sure that you're not in that category of annoying websites. With most users accessing the web pages and websites on their phone, your site must look good and function very, very well on all devices. So make sure you're taking that into consideration as you are planning this website out as well. And the third thing that I want you to think about when you're talking about boosting visibility, and I tell people this all the time and they're always surprised and shocked, is the loading speed of the website. Loading speed is important. It needs to load fast. And I am actually going through kind of a website revamp right now. And one of the biggest reasons is because I've added so much content to it. It's got video, it's got photos, it's got all these things that make it heavy. And I feel like my website doesn't load fast enough. And so I've been making transitions and changes, and I'm going through a revamp because of the lack of fast uploading, or at least I feel like it does. Now my reports and analytics shows me that it's kind of in the market, whatever. But we all know what we do when you are typing into a website and you're sitting there 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds later, and it's still not loaded. You click off and you move on. That, my love, is not the goal in this whole website build. So as you are planning yours, make sure that you're looking at web hosts that have fast loading, that the content that you're putting on there will allow for fast loading, and that you have taken the opportunity to plan your website around optimizing it for speed. A fast loading site improves your user experience, and ultimately it's going to keep them on your site, which is going to scream to the search engines, this is a good site, and it's going to help move your site up in SEO. So fast loads impact all of that, and that is why this is number one as you plan your website. Now, before we go any further, I just got to know, what is your experience right now? What are your biggest pain points and challenges as a new entrepreneur in building a website? Let me know in the comments below, because I really want to know what other content around websites you want me to create, or what trainings you want me to create, because over the years, I have DIY'd my website, I have outsourced, I have hired people to do it. I don't know if you want me to do a video on what to look for in someone who's going to build your website. So let me know in the comments below. And while you were down there, of course, like, subscribe, share, do all the good stuff so that I can keep CPTV going for all of you. And thank you in advance. Focus on your branding, all right? Branding is not just about a logo or a color palette. It's a part of it, but it's not just about that. It's about conveying the essence of your business and ultimately what it stands for, and your why, and your unique value proposition, and who you're attracting, and what you believe, and your values. It is communicating everything about your brand. And so you've got to make sure that as you are planning through this site, the information and the fonts and the sections and what you're including is taking into consideration everything about that branding. So when you're planning your website, I definitely recommend that you put a full-fledged website plan together. I've got an amazing paid program that I have called the Ultimate Website Planner. And if you want access to that, just let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure I shoot you the link. And I actually just reduced the price on that. So it's been extremely helpful, but it ultimately helps all of my students as I use it in my coaching programs as well, create the perfect website plan. Create the perfect website plan. And it's important for you to do so. And how I came up with it is because that's what I did and have always done in my businesses. I create a website plan first, and taking into consideration all the stuff I'm telling you today. And then once I have it, it's very easy for me to either DIY it, but now what I do is outsource it. I said, just give my graphic designer and my web designer the plan, and I'm like, do this. And it works out seamlessly. But focusing on your branding is a huge part of that plan. And some key points in this is making sure that you have solidified your brand identity. That's gotta be crucial. It's always gotta be done before you begin doing your website. And that's your mission, your vision, your values, your core principles, all of those things that you want to make sure is being conveyed on this website. And then you also want to make sure that you are ready and locked and stocked with all of your visual elements that pertain to your brand, like your colors and your fonts and your imagery and your photos and your logo and all of that stuff that's going to reflect your personality and ultimately appeal to your target audience. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a step that I actually talked about last week or in a couple weeks videos ago in a CPTV episode that said, so you started a business, now what? And that is why in that particular video, I said, before you can do your website, my loves, you've got to make sure that your entire marketing asset toolkit is ready to go. So planning out what your visual elements are going to be, getting together a folder of your colors and the fonts and the copy that you want to use, as well as any photos, whether they are stock or of you. So if they're of you, this might include getting a photo shoot done, getting some photos done, all that kind of good stuff. A strong brand identity will serve as the foundation of this website and will ultimately help you connect with your audience, which they are going to do when they come out to your website. They're either going to connect with you or they're not. And you want to make sure that you are connecting with so many people that it's going to be impossible for you not to sell, not to convert, and ultimately not to be able to grow and have a successful business. And step number 3, after you've done those other 2 steps, is now it is time for you to choose your site layout and design your site primarily with the user in mind, right? The user experience. The biggest question that I get from you guys is, what and how do I plan out the layout of my website? What do I include? And what you typically will do is look at somebody else's website and say, yes, I want all of this. But I'm going to encourage you to, yes, get that information to get some inspiration, but you are going to want to customize your website to your user's experience, following them through as if you are a visitor to your website through the journey that you want them to follow. And you want it to be easy, and ultimately you want it to tell a story. And that is what's going to ultimately determine which buttons you have across the top, which buttons and links you have throughout the pages, and where people are going to journey around your website from page to page. Nowhere is it written that the home page automatically leads to the about page, and that the about page automatically leads to the services page, and the services page automatically, you get where I'm going with this, right? You've got to spend some time in this plan choosing a layout that is going to walk your visitors through a journey that you want them to walk through, so that they can get a clear picture of who you are, what you do, how you do it, and how it benefits them. So the layout of your site is crucial for ensuring a good user experience. It's about easily and intuitively directing your visitors throughout navigating your site. You do not want a website that is laid out in such a way that it's hard for people to figure out where they're going, where they should go, or where they want to go. So that layout is going to be critical in that user experience. So 3 things that I want you to do when you are in this piece is, number 1, plan out your site structure. I love using a whiteboard to do it, and I just get my whiteboard and I write out what I'm thinking, and I actually map it out, and I pretend like I'm my visitor, and I'm like, okay, this is where I would go next. This is where I want them to go next. Then I take a picture of that, and that becomes what I give to my website designer, right? So plan out your site structure, outline it out, definitely do bullet points, tell them what sub pages should be included on the pages. Make sure that you've got a responsive design in this particular piece as well. Your site must look good on all devices. I have talked about this. So when you're doing it, you want to make sure that you know that it's going to look good on a desktop, on a tablet, on a phone. Responsive designs are above all the most important thing. And then you also want to begin to plan out the content that you need to include on the site. This is a huge mistake that I see startup entrepreneurs making every single day. You hire someone to do your website, or you are going to attempt to do your website yourself, and you've got nothing planned out and no content ready to go. A web designer that you're hiring to do your website for you is not a content creator. They're not a copywriter. They're not going to create the text. They're not going to pick the pictures for you. They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to build the site. The expectation is going to be that you're going to give them all of the stuff that they need in order to be able to do that. And if you don't have that ready and you're thinking that they're going to do it all, then you're going to end up without a site. They're going to be very frustrated. You're going to be very frustrated, and it's not going to be able to move forward. If you've already experienced that, can I get an amen in the comments below? And 9 times out of 10, you cannot get mad at the web designer, because probably if they were anywhere worth their salt, they couldn't move forward because you didn't give them enough content. So identify the key pieces of content that will be most valuable for your audience. Make sure that your content is action oriented, that it gets them to do something and it has a call to action, like download something or subscribe to something or buy something or click on something. And then think about things like blogs or product descriptions, your links, any tutorials, testimonials, contact forms, polls, chat features, all of those things that you may want to include on this website, and making sure that you keep it simple enough, because you have to recognize that you're ultimately going to be the one creating all of this copy and the photos and the images around all of this stuff. So content planning is huge before you dive into actually building. The plan is first, building is second. It is not the other way around. Remember, your content not only informs your visitors and your audience, but also engages them and converts them into customers, because that is ultimately why you are paying for this website in the first place. Gone are the days that your website is just an old school brochure online. Your website has to serve a purpose. It has to help you accomplish a goal, and your website plan is really the only way that you're going to be able to put all of that together. So let's recap these steps that I talked to you about when I say planning your first website. First of all, understand that I'm talking about a plan. You got to create the plan before you build the website. The first step in your plan is going to be thinking about what you are going to do to boost your site's visibility, right? That includes your SEO, your mobile optimization, and your loading speed. The second thing is to focus on your branding and what you want that brand to look like, right? Your brand identity, the values, the core, the feeling that you want your audience and visitors to have, as well as all the visual elements like your logo and your colors and your fonts and your imagery, figuring out what your plan is for that. The third thing is choosing your site layout and the design, and make sure it's maximized for user experience. That includes planning your site structure, making sure that it's very responsive on all devices, and then getting into mapping out and planning what content you're going to include. That is it, my love. Those are the 3 ways that you can begin to create this website plan. You've got to start with the plan before you do the design. If you've got a good plan, you can outsource this task or job. You can do it yourself. It don't matter. The plan's going to make it easier. The plan is going to make your website the bomb, and the bomb website is going to help your business grow. Until next time, my loves, remember, if you like this, let me know in the comments below. From solid branding to an intuitive user experience, websites are going to be important, and there is a method and a strategy to creating and building a website. If you've got questions or need specific advice, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, my loves, I will see you real soon. Bye-bye. Mwah!